Oh, I'll turn the light. There we go. Let me play on the video so its sequence is somewhat okay. Hi ladies and gentlemen, what is good fluff? We're streaming a whopping 2 minutes earlier because we were late a couple times last week. We don't need to talk about it. But anyways, dude, I made so many videos today. I hope they turned out okay. But jumped into Let It Die for a little bit. Man, that game is still like, it's weird how your brain will like just fall back into like, oh, this is how this works, this is how that works. Granted, we played it for like a year, 2 years, something, an ungodly amount of time. What is good, Lone Syndicate? Lone Syndicate says, what's up, Grin? What's up, Grin? Ma ha ha ha. Ki. What? What? What is that? I don't know if I like that. What is that? What is the ha 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 ki? What's that? I keep trying to rationalize it in my head and keep coming up with nothing. Also, talking about Saints Row, man, what do you call it? First of all, is this a Karate Kid reference? I think so, right? That, like, I know that one hit. But apparently, this is like, we heard about this a little bit, and I hope it's actually flushed out. So there's perks in the game, and there's also skills, and we're used to one of those. We're used to, I think, skill tree, where essentially, like, you have money, you spend money on leveling up your character, essentially, you know, more ammunition, better damage, stuff like that. And it's relegated by like level, so you can't like just get all of the assault rifle damage immediately. It slowly becomes given to you. But one of the things that they talked about in this game is that they actually have like taunts. So you have like, I'm not sure what it's called, if it's called poise or like respect or something. I don't know what it is called, but it's basically like a bar, like 3 bars that can fill up, and I imagine you get more of them. But it looks like you can actually, like, with you having a lot of them, you can spend them in ways where, like, I think we looked at this. You can, like, throw a grenade down somebody's pants and then throw them, which is what we see in the video, which is pretty cool. Also, you can have, like, a guitar. I don't know if that gives you money or what, but the game looks fun and goofy. And it's funny because finally people are starting to, like, be like, okay, it looks like it might be shit, but I'll have a good time. You know, like, because people are like, I said it was trash. I hate Saints Row, but there's nothing to play right now, and it looks kind of good. It looks kind of goofy. So I'm happy to see people doing kind of like a turnaround on the game. But also, it's good to know that they're like looking into giving post-launch like GTA Online support to the game after its launch. But it will have co-op, but just not like huge amounts of people in one world kind of thing. Which I think, in a lot of respects, like if you think about GTA and like its weird role-playing servers and all that stuff, I feel like this game really lends like the customization, the creepy face customization. You can make a whole ass character, you know what I mean? So it'll be cool to see what happens with that. But yes. On a side note, what do you call it? I still keep, I always make it sound too salacious, but I continue to tear up little by little when it comes to watching this anime I'm currently watching called Rancor of Kings. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it, but it is like the definition of like emotional damage, but also good. Like, it's not like it's like Your Lie in April, which I hear is like probably gonna leave you feeling empty and sad. Where this one just makes you feel like push through adversity. Ugh, My Hero Academia, Deku's pushing through his bullshit nonsense and trying his heart out. Ugh. I cried at that shit for whatever reason. Stefan says, GE, Grin, and everyone. Good evening, Grin, and everyone. Good evening to you, Stefan. Hope you're having a lovely day. How's it been? Any noteworthy things happen? You play some game. It turns out anything noteworthy is something. Or anything is noteworthy. That's what I meant to say. Also, I've been talking a lot today, so my brain is like melted, but also like my mouth is ready to move. If that makes any sense. Lone Syndicate says, I can also not wait for you to talk about the anime. Have you seen it in any way, Lone Syndicate? Have you started watching it? Because, dude, I can't. It's like, it is so wholesome. I gotta stop. I want to talk about it. I haven't finished it yet, but also it's 24 episodes. But every single episode, it's like, I don't know what it is. I got really lucky with like watching the 2 shows I just watched in terms of anime are like so rewatchable. Like they're just like the best comfort food I've ever had, kind of thing. Like I just watched The Realist Hero. It's so good, dude. It's so good. It's so good. It's just like maybe it's just because I haven't seen a lot of shows that do that kind of thing, the kind of like militaristic diplomacy kind of angle slash like it's like Civ. It's like watching someone do Civ but actually make it fun. Also, did you just launch off of something? Okay. I like how people are like, this is going to be more of a realistic Saints Row, and then there's this. I think this might be a special. Is it a special objective? Or sorry, a special like thing, like a mini game? No, I think yeah. People are like, this is the realistic Saints Row. You're basically flying with more steps, which is crazy. I love it. Don't change it. The only thing I really hope with again, the one thing I'm craving from like at all games at this point, this is my like one deductive thing where I can point to and say that if a game does this, I'm gonna be really, I hope, happy with it. Maybe I don't know what I want, but I think this is what it is. I want there to be like meaningful progression. Like to me, I hope Saints Row doesn't just like, that was one of the things that bothered me about Dying Light, where within relative ease you could get a lot of this stuff. Now granted, we did use an exploit anyways, but like to me, I hope in Saints Row there's a secret side quest that gives you like a ultimate hang glider, but instead of it just being one side quest, it's like part 5 to the side quest that gives you actually a good reward. Because I feel like people do progression, but they don't reward progression in a way. Or it's like you get one minuscule bump every single like hour on the dot, but that's it. Or it's you get like all of your progression within 2 things, and you're like, and then everything else is kind of just like, it gives you money, like side quests give you money, but that's it. And it's just like, why? Stop it. Stop it. Zero, what's good, Zero? How you doing, buddy? It's been a little bit. Zero says, hello, I slept all day. You feeling well rested, or you feeling like tired? Sometimes when I oversleep, I feel like I took some hours away from me in a way. Zero says, I'm doing Vladov Allegiance Moes in Borderlands 3. Golly, Vladov never got enough love in the thing, man. Also, I also feel like Atlas. I feel like they really left some of the manufacturers like just done. Like the whole idea of Atlas being well, dude, Atlas never made any sense at all. Like the whole idea of like you having auto targeting rounds, but yet you have to hit a probe, which is kind of like, it doesn't help people who can't aim. Like it just makes it harder. It's like how to miss with more steps. You miss the target thing. You have 2 tries to hit the targeting thing, which if anyone knows how to aim relatively okay, just use a Jacobs. Like, what are you doing? So to me, it was just weird. It was just really weird. Like if it was like a pulse, like a sonar beep, and like anything that was genuinely in front of you, it would like lock onto something, then there's that. But yeah, it just seemed like, what? The only thing that they started to do at the very end of Borderlands 3, man, is there was, I don't know if it was an Atlas or if it was something else, but it was a weapon just by holding it out, you would summon like 4 doppelganger like SMGs, I think, or assault rifles. They would just hover there, and like as soon as you started firing, they would start firing. And that could be like a good way to aimbot for your like waifu or girlfriend who can't aim necessarily, or can aim. I'm assuming things, but whomever can't aim, your little brother, you, another dude, whatever. Stefan says it's been hot, but it's been good otherwise. Stefan, are you the person who was talking to us yesterday in YouTube? Or was this the same name? Maybe it was the same name. Yeah, okay. I'm bad with names. I'm good with people. But like, so there was a person who was talking to us about how ungodly hot it is where they're currently existing. Zero says, doing the thing. Fluff says, springboard off of people in very Saints Row level of absurd. It's true, but to me, I'm like, is throwing a fireball so crazy? Okay, imagine that, a Saints Row game that was all about mutants. You know what I mean? Instead of it just being like superpowers, it's like no. You're like sucking, like kind of like Infamous Second Son, where you're like taking the powers of someone else. Lone Singing says, I have no idea. I have not been rewatching. I have not. I have been rewatching 2 anime right now. Hopefully, Fox Senko-san, and started rewatching the quintessential quintuplets. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Names, always hard for me. Lone Syndicate says, not sure if you heard of any of these two. The Lone Syndicate, the thing is, I probably, you know me, I have never heard of anything ever. But if you show me an image, I'll promise you I'll recognize it. But if it's a name, I have no idea. Never. I'm doing positive, negative reinforcement with a bad trait I have. But I've tried to do the opposite, and it's just, I'm in the stage of acceptance now, where it's like, maybe you can't fix yourself. There's some things you just have to accept. Also, check it out, guys. I got it. I got it today. Look at it. It's delicious. It doesn't have any marker that defines it, but it's that coffee, Wendy's flurry drink, whatever. It's like ice cream and a coffee, but it's good. Anyway, Zero says if I took more than one shot, you weren't using a Jacobs. Yeah. Well, Jacobs is not that. Jacobs is like fucking insane because Jacobs is like, we ricochet, we have the highest base crit. It's just like across the board, like, what? Like, what do you do? But it's also hilarious because it's not very inspired. It just has like critical damage and like ricochet. But they scaled up the damage so much. That critical damage was so valuable that yeah. It's just absurdly good. I'm actually surprised that there's not that many Jacobs weapons that people are finding within Wonderlands, because usually they're always like the cream of the cream, but I guess they nerfed them down a little bit. Fluff says, I mean, most of Atlas legendaries just ignore the gimmick instead. Yeah, it's true, but sometimes it's there in a weird way. Like sometimes it's like a noob tube, but it's still kind of like, I don't know. But then there's like Vladolf. I think is it Vladolf? Yeah, Vladolf. Yeah, your Moe's Vladolf run is pretty cool because Vladolf was actually pretty interesting, if I'm not mistaken. Like you could. Am I thinking of Vladolf? It's the one that had like two types of guns on one. Like you could roll this barrel and it basically become a rocket launcher really quick. But they never made like the rocket launcher so goddamn powerful that it was worth switching. Like you'd always just stay with whatever was, and then like that'd be it. Maybe Moe's is like the one exception because she can just regenerate a mag essentially. But yeah. Zero says, yep, the OPQ system is it was Atlas. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, that was the one I was thinking about. Fluff says, like one of the ones I have, my Zane just launches a ball of energy. Nice. Yeah, and don't you shoot it and it has more damage or something like that? I was always plugged into the Borderlands 3 community. I stopped making content for it because people didn't seem too interested. Also, there are people who were doing like crazy groundwork. And now that we're covering Wonderlands, I'm starting to feel that excessive ground coverage. But also, we're in a weird place where the game is kind of, I don't know what its future is. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, I guess I'm going to invest, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Not a lot of faith here. It's like a betting on a cryptocurrency. It's like, it could go up, but probably not. I don't know. I'm hopeful, I'll say that. Nub says, why are you attacking me? What do you mean? Why am I attacking you? Oh, my eyes just dried out like crazy. I don't know if dust flew in there. Jeez. Lone Syndicate says, the Dark Army TDO SMG. I like that gun so much. Is that what it was called? That was also the other one? Nice. Zero says, I have feeling I should be wearing a Russian outfit. Why, Zero? Oh, my eye. Oh. Fluff says, good news. Right. The pain hasn't returned today. Nice. And it didn't last all day yesterday either, but I figure it's come back within the next few days since it seems like it was doing so. Yeah. It seems like your body's like, hey. We don't think we're not in hell yet. Don't you start taking those pills. No says, Senko is at Lollyfox. I know, I've seen that. Yeah. It's like the weird, like, it's weird, but it's like a fox, like maternal / waifu weird. Yeah, it's a little weird. I watched the whole thing. It was very wholesome. Oh, my eye. but yeah, no, it was fun. It was a fun show, but it did end in a weird way. It kind of had that same vibe, at least to me, as Dragon Maid. So it had the same kind of sense of like, okay, I guess. Also, what's good? Exen and oh my goodness. My guy, I don't want to butcher your name, so let me know exactly how to say it. But you say, evening, how's your day? It's going great. Not better now that I see you, but please tell me how to say your name, because I have no idea where to start. Enoko Okuri? Okurio? I feel like I don't know. I feel like I said something that I'm like, I've heard something like it. And then I just fall apart. What is good, Blade? How are you doing? How you been taking care of yourself? Hopefully well. Don't know how you reply to that question also. All right, I think this is just a consolidation of all the kind of gameplays that we've been fed a little bit, but just like it in its whole. Neat. And the quintuplets one is about a dude tutorial 5 sisters. Is the dude who tutors 5 sisters. Oh, okay, I see. I feel like I've seen that one advertised. Yeah, like it's like one of the harem shows that people constantly talk about. Yeah, it has a season 2. I think maybe that's why I'm seeing. I think I've seen a season 2 of something like that. Something with like a really weird Q heavy name. Stefan says, oh, we're talking fluff. Loadsing, it says, I feel like you would like the quintessential quintuplets grin, and I recommend it if you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, but I imagine it's on the list of things to see. But like after I'm done watching the King Rankers, I think I gotta watch God of High School because it's just kind of sitting there, and it's been sitting there for a while. I'm gonna keep excluding it, even though I know it's gonna be great. I love Wukong also, so I think I'm gonna be hyped. Nub says, using Gage because I can't. Oh, I see. Well, Gage was fine though. Gage also was one of those weird characters where like it was like Gearbox knew what people were using her for, just to stack a shit ton of aimbot or like damage to where you could just ricochet and melt the world. But that was her whole point. But it also, like, I feel like because that is the way that you're building a character to function, you should have made it easier to like get stacks of anarchy besides somebody sitting in like sanctuary for 10 hours reloading or using some specific weapon that like allows you to build anarchy stacks a lot, you know. And then people literally demapping the reload button just to not fuck it up. It's just crazy. Lone Syndicate says, 800-year-old fox girl takes care of this depressed guy. It's wonderful. Yeah, but it's Nub killed it. I wouldn't have understood that bit until Nub said it's like a lolly, and I'm like, got it. It's like a child. It's like a child, weird like maid servant person, shrine person. But that clicked for me. I was like, okay, yes. Astroblade says, we're supposed to be taking care of Earth? Yes, Astroblade, I need you in this world. I need all of you guys in this world. Fucking make yourself homeostasis, harmony, balance, all that. Don't like destroy yourself though. Some people are like, they take self-care into like, or what is it called? Self-improvement to a degree which is just masochistic, you know? None of that. Less of that. Zero says, did you know that John Gallagher's son makes music? I don't know any name, Zero, ever. We've talked about this. If it's a name, I've never heard it. I don't know anything about it. But I don't know who that is. Generally. But odds are no. I don't know most people make music. Fluff says, that name has been can be broken down into Z no and then Kai Ri O. I'm gonna call you Z. I'm gonna call you Zeno, our boy Zeno. Okay, I'm not gonna remember that's tied to an X, E, and then something. Zeno. Best I can do is please be. I'm so sorry, but I just know I haven't read the whole thing, the first bit. Just like McFlufferton, fluff. I see the F-U-L. It doesn't even say that. To me, my brain seen that, and I was like, I'll be fine. Lone Syndicate says, yes, quintessential quintuplets. Although, sorry, thank you, Fluff, for telling me that. I do appreciate you telling me the whole thing. Lone Syndicate says, yes, the quintessential quintuple, I can't say that. That was season 2, so you may have been seeing that. Plus, the movie for the release yesterday in Japan. Oh, okay, so yeah, that makes sense. That makes plenty of sense. John Gallagher Jr. didn't follow in his father's comedic footsteps. Oh, Yeah, I'm so sorry. Zero, your wonderful communication is wasted on me because I have no idea who any of these people are. I'm sure they're fantastic. I'm sure I know the comedian. I'm sure I know the music. I've heard some of the musician things. Oh man, I was watching a video the other day that talked about like how fucking good the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack is, and like the way it like melds Toothless's and the main guy. I'm the worst. The main guy, Hiccup. There we go. They're like soundtracks together in like the symphony, and man, love it. Also, that was one of the musicians that like to me. What is his name? His name is Jacob something. If you know music, like actual like complexity music shit, his name is Jacob something. It's like the most weird music. It's like the guy is playing music on hard mode and winning. It's basically what I just describe his music as. Nub says, my mother just got back from the Dominican, where it was over 40 plus. Disgusting. Is she okay? Make sure she drink a lot of water and whatnot to balance out. Golly. And it was -2 when she landed and snowing, so she got super sick. Oh yeah, her body didn't bounce back quick because it was used to like trying to exude heat, or dump heat. That's what they call it. Zeno, gotcha. Zeno is fine. Gotcha. Zeno, I'll do my best. I wish there was a Z in front of the instead of an X. I hope I'll be able to put it together. Zeno. It's actually kind of hard. My vision's starting to blur, actually. Or like get all staggered. Zeno. If you stay green, Zeno, it'll help me a lot. If you just make sure you're always green in the chat, I'll resonate with it. How's the day been though, Zeno? Fluff says, was gonna suggest the first part as it's easy to pronounce. Lone Singing says, also Grin, did you look at my I did. I heard it, man. It looked great. It looked fantastic. Yeah. Big Booba. Who's it made after? It kind of looks like I'm not mistaken, it was a green hair with like glasses, a good bit of Booba and sweater, which is kind of always a catch-all. But it would look very good. Is it the kind of person that looks a little bit like is the person from Infinite Stratus, the teacher? That's what kind of looked like to me. But yes. But maybe I'm misunderstanding things. I've also seen a lot of fan art a little bit right now. So yes, but it looked great. I heard it because I thought it looked wonderful. And also great progression, man. Amazing. Fluff says, it's like, from, xenomorphs. Oh, okay. I've heard that. Okay, xenomorphs. Yeah, I've never seen that word written down. Well, I know xenomorphs. Yeah. Fucking creepy tongue things. Awful. Ugh. I will say though, the xenomorphs, like the dark kind of beetle-like and like creatures, honestly not that terrifying to me. It's the fucking crab things that are like the definition of I hate it. I can't. Like that. There's a certain thing. If there was this world with xenomorphs, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna do my best. If I seen a bunch of eggs with weird like spider-like running at you and like bursting out of people's chest, I would just slice my throat. I'm done. This is not a world I want to be in at all. I'm over it. I'm done. I throw in the towel immediately. Kill. No, not happening. Dude, that's also the other thing. People talk about like zombies. Like I don't know if a zombie is enough of a threat to make me say this isn't worth defending. This is not worth it. Okay, not worth it in any way. Same thing with like Jason Voorhees. Freddy kind of gets close because it's just like a torture. You know what I mean? Fluff says, I read that. Nub says, well, seeing as he's red for me, he does have a color set or your shit out of luck. Well, Xenomorph makes more sense to me. Fluff says the face hugger. Yeah, much more, dude. I can't even describe how. You know what's even worse? It's those fucking beetles from The Mummy. Just why? Like, it's funny. It feels like the guy who made the Mummy was just like deeply desiring to want to make a horror film as well. But that was like the most horrific thing. Horror movies don't come close to that shit usually. Probably because they know it's just like, it's so disgusting that it's not like freaky or scary. It's just like mind parasites basically, and it will just make people unhappy with you. People want to get like a jump scare, they're like, god, or like, ooh, that's an interesting concept that's kind of creepy, unsettling. But people don't want to have their mind destroyed for weeks about like a beetle crawling underneath your skin and then you slicing it. Ooh, I hate it. I hate it so much. I can't even describe it. Zeno says, EXO is like Dragon Ball reference. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember like the Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, something like that. I feel like I'm not saying that completely right, but it sounds somewhat on the right path. But yeah, it was a very fun game, by the way. It was weird that the second one didn't pop off as much. I think it's because it was like pushed in a time when I think Xenoverse, when it first came out, was a good, like it was right around the time when people wanted to play it. Like it didn't have a lot of competition, and I think they released a sequel when there was, and then people were like, why did it do well? It's like, well, because timing is a relevant thing. Like I think any game that gets released kind of in this bracket will do well. A decent game. That's why I think it's also funny when people are like, everyone's locked in on this early access game. And as much as I think there's plenty of really cool, interesting early access games, it's just the timing of you releasing it that to me I think is the most crucial part. Which is why it always fucking frustrates me that so many like amazing games get released on Christmas. I know the like marketing idea to it, but I don't know if it's worth, like, I think you'd make more money if you uploaded your game on a dry spell, you know? Also, I cannot wait to take this shitty, disgusting Saint hideout and make it fucking I wonder if there's multiple locations. That'd be really cool. Like you go to one location, make it look badass, give it a kind of a style, go to another location, build that shit up, give it a different type of style. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Maybe each district has different kind of like Saint vibes. Kind of, oh my god, I love it so much. I can't wait to exist in this world. Again, please give me progression, besides just collectible nonsense. Apparently, the vibe, by the way, in this game is very similar to Watch Dogs 2, which, as long as there is a wrench-like character, I'm fine with it. To be honest, I didn't really... Watch Dogs 2 is fine, story-wise. But Wrench, the chaotic weirdo who's also, like, best bro, like, I'll pull you from fire. I might have caused the fire, but I'll pull you from it. That's a peak, all right? But I don't know if any of these are going to happen. I'd hope they do, but maybe not. And if it is, it's usually from, like, the mechanic, you know? The one who has, like, the, you know, what would you call it? I can't, what is it called? Something about those types of characters in the Saints Row games have always been, like it's Shandi, any sort of, like tomboy girl who's got the group's back kind of thing. Xeno is a Dragon Ball reference, and Curry is the Mecha Godzilla was called in the Millennium. Okay, Kairu. I hope I'm reading that right. I'm gonna do Xeno. Xeno seems clean, interesting, unique. I love it. Also, Astroblade says, at least they're face huggers and not... Okay. Alright. Just like weird butt plug things. Horrifying. Brutal. Did you die like the other, like Vlad the Impaler style? Yeah, that doesn't sound great. Isn't there like a bug or a parasite that when you pee in a river or something in like a very hard, like the Amazon, it swims up there and like just wrecks you? It's horrible. Also terrible. Nub says, why are you describing it? You're gonna bring back my nightmares. Yeah, man. Ugh. Horrible things. Why? It's also funny because they're in movies that are like otherwise pretty wholesome. Man, mind you, like there was a creepy part in The Mummy where like the dude had like his jaw unhinged and shit, and it was like, ew. But other than that, yeah. Also, how was the like Mummy reboot? I know people shit on it, but to me, I also kind of like the whole monster movie vibe, so I might have liked it. But yeah. Also, I wish that Brandon Fraser got more work because he seems like a good person. Kind of like ushered into like this safe haven by meme lovers and such. But yeah. Fluff says, and then there's the Half-Life head crabs, which combine aspects of face huggers and turned the host into zombies. Yeah, but I don't think that's as bad. I don't think that's nearly as bad. Like, to me, the Half-Life is not like head crabs. Like, in Half-Life Alyx, she literally just grabs one by the hand, like, it jumps at you, and you grab it, and you just throw it like a sack of potatoes. Or you just wear, like, a metal helmet, and you're safe, you know? Whereas the head things, I feel like they would just dive into your mouth and, like, just shrapnel into your guts. And it's just like, no. Also, oh, yeah, no, the more I think about it, the more the fucking Mummy nailed it. Where, like, the Mummy, even if you were wearing shoes, the fucking, it makes sense. If they have enough power to punch through skin and, like, muscle tissue, they can easily make it through a shoe. So they just punch through shoes and shit, and you're like, how is this? Literally, the guy that is, like, the Mummy could just set out these, like, horrific beetles onto a whole, Brendan Fraser's whole kind of situation, and they would just all die. But instead, they're like, no, you know, they kind of just, they drain the life out of people or something. Also, do you guys want to talk about aliens? You guys want to talk about aliens? Let's see. It says nub. Oh, sorry, no. Let's see. It says nope. Grin. It's Hikage from Cinerakage. Oh, okay, gotcha. Different person. And thank you, my friend. I tried some new shading. It looked great. Techniques, and after watching hours of shading tips, nice. I love hearing that. Get after it. That's the best. I like that you're focusing your mind on things and you're slowly implementing the things you're learning. It's perfect. And it turned out well, and I think I need to work on the consistency because I'm not sure if you noticed, but some shadings were either darker than others or color shades of two or off. I can't notice, man. Art's one of those weird things where, to me, like, at a certain point, it just kind of starts looking nicer, but then you can tell the difference between, like, a person who has been continuing to check things off the list. But, man, Lone Syndicate, I bet on you, buddy. I bet on you 100%, especially if you keep that up, where you realize that you want to make this sharper, so you're watching YouTube videos, you're pursuing those things, and then you're slowly implementing to them, actually applying what you've learned. I'll bet on you 100%, man. I back that. Hundo P. So keep that up, buddy. I can't wait to see where you become with that level of focus and precision on actually attaining and sharpening a skill. Love it. Ooh, again, they still haven't really shaken the Saints Row like action movie fight scenes where, like, you kick someone in the balls by going like it's just like the most soft, like, and then the guy's like oh, I wish someone isolated that sound. But then dude just collapses and, you know, horribly. I figure it's one HQ, but it seems like there's so much customization in Saints Row 2 and 3 had, if not more. Oh yeah, it definitely seems like they scaled that up immensely, which honestly I don't dislike. To me, I think that's a really interesting idea that we're like, instead of saying, you know, I feel like a lot of companies say, well, we need to do this, and then they kind of do too many things, and then there's not enough there. And I think open world games do that, where they're like, we need to make a bigger map than the previous game, in which, like, nobody, like, ran around and explored your map anyway. Like, people will only go where, like, side quests and where, like, noteworthy rewards that fuel you to hunt them are, you know? With this game, you know, with the fact that you have a Saints hideout, I could dedicate a stream to, like, running around getting all the cool little collectibles for your Saints hideout. I won't mind that. I don't know if everyone will, but that's something. But I think instead of having a bigger map, instead if they gave more reasons for you to build things and more like if you had a gun region, or like you took control of, like, the gang that was all about guns and, like, weaponry, and you had their safe house, and their safe house had, like, various different upgrade points and money to invest, but you would get yields out of it in terms of, like, gun gameplay. So it's almost like that is a skill tree in itself. And then you were leveling that up, and that's like something that can pull you through, get you to grind side quests that are resettable or something. You know, but I feel like games always do, like, well, we need a bigger map that's only more empty. And you're like, okay, why? But yeah. Fluff says, the new cast seems to be harking back to Gat, Shandy, and Pierce, especially Saints Row 3 onward. Similar personalities and archetypes. Hell, even their genders and aesthetics are almost one-to-one. I know who Shandy is, right? Shandy kind of seems more like like a Carlos kind of thing too, though, because she seems to be the gun kind of thing. So I think she's like a surrogate for Carlos more. Carlos and Shandy, I think that's what she's probably a mix of. And then Pierce, I don't know who Pierce is. Is Pierce the nerdy guy? I guess, but I don't really get the vibe. Maybe like the same gender and archetype like you're saying, but not the same personality, I don't think. Maybe he starts becoming Pierce. And then, yeah, Gat to me doesn't seem like Gat. Like, Gat to me is, that guy seems like quirky and like kind of like, I'm a misfit weirdo who's kind of derpy, but I'm a badass and I'm fearless. But Gat's like kind of cold and confident. That's Gat. Gat's like, we got this. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then just does. And you're like, God damn. The force of nature. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if I get that vibe out of the guy who with his shirt off, you know? The new cat. All right, read that. Zeno says, you have been Bub Hatep. It's a Bruce Campbell movie where he is playing the Elvis impersonator in the old folks' home where an ancient being comes back to life and sucks out people's souls through their butt. No, is it like a B movie? It seems like a weird B movie nightmare show, which I'm sure people love those as well, just for the meme of them. But yeah, Stefan says, I like Brendan Fraser's roles. He's entered. Yeah, man, my favorite one was the movie where he like makes a deal with the devil, except the devil's actually like the best bro dude ever and is just trying to like help people. And she's also, the devil's also goddamn attractive. God damn. This is why people grow up like an older women, by the way. Just because shows like this. It's like, I'm not sure what it's called. Some of you guys will know. It's like a Brendan Fraser old movie with like the devil and whatnot. It's great. Also, Monkey Bone is also a classic. Anyways, sorry. Well, this thing it says, another thing I need to work on is is I using the shading outline her belly, but it looks like I gave her the outline if you know. Yeah, I know what you mean. About outfit male characters who have abs for the day, which I guess is fine, but not what I was going. Yeah, no, I see. I know what you're meaning. I know what you're meaning. What do you call it? Yeah, to me, it's. I think it's. I got really into drawing because I was like, maybe I should do this. Like, give this a hurrah. But then I was like, it's too much. I chose like making weird masks as my creative outlet for a while. But yeah, no, I know what you're meaning, man. Like it like shading to me seems like one of those things that, to me, it becomes a lot easier when you stop. In my experience, like when I'm making thumbnails, that's the only thing I can kind of equate it to. But if you just take what is essentially like a dark, like you just overlay dark, like a complete black filter over something. And then you take like a general outline of something, and then you decrease the shadowing or decrease the opacity to it, and then you basically make it so that it's softer. So wherever you cropped a chunk of like not darkness out, you change that to have like a gradient to like a feathering effect. You can see how like color weirdly affects the face. So I think it's easier to understand when you have like a blanketed, like if everything was dark and then you introduce a little bit of light, how that would work, and then you expand on that. I think that's how you start getting a greater idea of shadows. Now, in a weird way, less is way more. But granted, also I think the easiest way to become better at drawing to me is to, at least in my perspective, and I know nothing, but the one that gave me the most confidence in pursuing, like, I think anybody could draw if you were able to wrap your head around something called planes, because planes seem to be your gateway to like general the way faces should be assembled, and then you can like distort and add your style to it. But you first need to understand how everything is broken into these various kind of quadrants within the face, and then knowing those quadrants will allow you to know how shadowing can take effect, and then you can build off of that and then understand how all kind of shadowing can take an effect. So that to me was the only thing that gave me confidence in saying like, hey, I might yeah, I might do this, you know, I might give this a whirl. But then I was like, I got no time. But yeah, but no, definitely stay at it, Lone Cynic, and again, eventually you'll find a channel that like really speaks to you in terms of like developing your art and things like that. I know Jazza is big in that whole scene. I'm not sure he still is. I would imagine he is, but yeah. Fluff says, it's a bit late to be asking if I want to talk about aliens. Why? Oh, I think sorry, tell me aliens. You guys playing Footnote? Foot for foot? You guys play Forklift? What? Zero, I am lost. I feel like I missed that joke entirely. Whatever it was you were saying. Fluff says, we need to play the original release games made of Fortnite back when the name actually had relevance to the concept. What is now Save the World. Yeah. Thankfully, they also seemed enough. They also seem different enough, but they follow similar archetypes. Yeah, archetypes I see. Personality type saying it'll be different, which to me, I really would like. Out of all the characters, I like Pierce a lot. I think Shaundi kind of got a little. She's not bad. Shaundi's iconic, but just I don't know. She seemed like she wasn't as much of a character in terms of like Gat. Like Gat, maybe it's because they were simplified characters. Where Shaundi actually seemed like she went through like. She was angry. She was like because she loved her friends and all these things. It kind of seemed like a quite the gradient of like an experience, But she grew and all these things. But to me, I think because of that, she feels less of like a character I want to see like a lot more of. Like I don't ever get tired of seeing Gat and the boss's dynamic, because it's literally like I'll back you up, basically. Like we can take on the world and I'll back you up no matter what. And that's just like, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Let's go to hell or some shit. Like we'll go to hell and back kind of feeling. And also Gat's like relentless confidence. Like you just feel like everything is gonna work out because he's Gat, and that's his weird like. But also Gat's a fucking animal. That's also the other thing is that like yeah, he's like they make a joke about it in the show that like Johnny Gat and the boss are like equals, and the boss is a freak. Like he's an unkillable god. I think Gat gets stabbed in the whole stomach with like a katana and just walks it off. Mind you, the boss literally gets shredded with bullets on a daily basis. So but I would love if they would have kept the traditional Gat personality in the game, which is just like that. I'll back you up. I'm overly confident, but I also can back up that confidence with the like kind of like Wrench. That was kind of what Wrench was in Watch Dogs 2, except way more playful and like childlike, childish, I guess. I forgot the name, but I remember the movie where you're talking. Yeah, the whole like thing. Stefan says every Brendan Fraser, every Bruce Campbell movie is a B movie. But most of them are great. Okay, yeah, no, there's also some of those directors that just do really well with like small budgets, but yet like they have fun, a lot of fun. There's one that like I think he's like a meme. He's like kind of like he makes shitty movies to make shitty movies, but I forget what his name is called, but it's something. I think Achievement Hunter did like a lot of Let's Watch is what it's called, but essentially, but it's basically like them watching shitty movies, kind of like a Mystery Science Theater. But yeah, a lot of his movies were there. I forget what his name is. Asherblade says, I think it was Basiled? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Dazzled? Was it? Yeah, Basiled maybe? But yeah, okay. It had a woman from Austin Powers too. Okay. That sounds like yeah. It sounds like something, man. Yep. Elizabeth Hurley was the devil, and also Austin Powers oh really? Okay. Oh yeah. She was she was the original Austin Powers like main girl kind of thing. Yeah. So what's this? Sparks says, what's up, Grim? We're in the middle of a heat wave. Ooh. Here it's almost 100 degrees. Golly. I hope you're okay, buddy. We have some of those summers too where it's like you could cook an egg on a pavement kind of bit of business. But I imagine in certain parts of America, golly. Actually, I don't even know where you are, Sparks, but I assume that's what's happened. I have some Australians up in here. Very few Brits. Decent amount of Canadians, a lot of Americans, in my analytics at least. But yes. Shaundi went from a carefree stereotype. Oh, Shaundi went from a carefree stereotype, a pothead with dreadlocks, to angry all the time, hard ass with no coherent development in between. Yeah, I guess that's That's kind of true. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Spider. Also, Buns is hiding. What's good, Buns? Enjoy yourself. Thank you so much, Mr. Spider. I appreciate that immensely. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Mr. Spider. But I was gonna say, yeah, I guess that's true. I forgot that Shandi was kind of just like a goofball. Like she kind of was just like a pothead, yeah. But I also, I think that in a way, at least to me, it makes sense because like you're a pothead, you're kind of just like whatever, and then the Saints literally become icons and like millionaires. And I feel like I don't know many potheads who maintain potheadery. They usually level up to coke or some sort of horribly destructive drug, essentially. Either that or you become kind of like and I think Shandi also talks about this, but I think that's them trying to clean up things to echo Fluff's point a little bit. But in Saints Row 2 and I think, or Saints Row 3 and 4, I think, there was like quests that Shandi had to go down where like she had to look at her old pothead self, but that might have been just because people were like, what the fuck? Granted, Pierce kind of came out of nowhere too. Gat never changed, which is, I think, because people would have been genuinely pissed if Gat changed. Because Gat's been in every game, essentially, except for 3, kind of, but yes. But I want to say, the reason why I said you guys want to talk about aliens is because I seen the most hilarious, like effect, essentially. But you guys know the iconic, like, aliens meme? Like, the guy who's got crazy hair and he's like, aliens. It's just the best. But it's like a classic aliens meme guy. And I think somewhere along the line, it was like I used to always walk by the Discovery Channel, and I'll be honest, the whole ancient aliens thing seemed fun. Seemed interesting and fun. Whether it's true, I have no idea. I think it just seems like a good time, like a good, what a quinky dink. Anyways, on with my life. But one of the points in that whole thing is that I think they regarded, like, I remember walking by it one time, and essentially they made the deduction of, like, maybe the reason why pyramids or something are constantly, scattered throughout the world is maybe that there were like these alien XYZ people that like why do we all have this belovedness for this shape? It's not like it offers much, it seems like. And then recently, I'm not sure if you guys are in the like conspiracy theory alien thing. I dip my toe in. I like to talk about it. I'm not sure if I want to fucking doom and gloom the world. But what is it called? Like I'm not sure who it was. The Air Force or something? Like it's actually like I don't know who it is. But they recently released another like weird unidentified like aircraft thing. And of course, way back in the day, there was like this Tic Tac thing. I'm sure you guys have heard it. It's like went into the water or something, and like Commander Fravor or something, like some sort of thing dove across incredible speeds. People just chalked it up to like some sort of visual fuck up, essentially. Like a visual comms issue, a bird, a balloon. I always thought those were like equally as unrealistic as everything else. You know what I mean? Like just like a bad answer to things. But anyway. But recently they've released another one of these like alien things. You just Google or YouTube, new alien footage or something. It's basically this like this pyramid shape. And the thing that makes it weird in this case is it's caught on camera through like a scanner or something that can track this moving target, but it's also captured in the device camera on the guy's head. So you see this guy looking at something in like a fucking jet, and he's kind of finagling around, and it could always all be bullshit. But it was released by the government thing. It wasn't just like some random asshole, and they also tracked it or something. I don't know. I'm sure I'm gonna have an egg on my face. I just want to tell you guys the conclusion of my story. So I seen that, and of course, all it is this like jet engine guy seeing this thing like way in the distance. It looks like a pyramid-shaped flying thing, and then it just kind of like you could see it move, and then it moves like insanely fast, like just like out of nowhere too, just boom, gone. And then it shows like the cam footage of them like tracking it, essentially, them like tracking the shit out of it, and all that stuff. And all in my head, then I was I was just thinking when as soon as I seen that footage of like that guy who's like aliens. And the guy who was like, maybe there were aliens that had like pyramid spaceships that came to Earth and like gave people some technology or gave people some information or some weird shit, and maybe that's why there's a reverence for pyramids all over the world. And then we see this like weird potential, who knows, alien footage or something, and it's a fucking pyramid, and that guy's like, eat my ass, you sons of bitches. You thought you didn't, you rat cunts. The thing that's also weird is it also, when it takes off, it goes to like the same location of two other pyramid-like shaped things. So it doesn't seem like it's a camera issue. Could be something. People also argue that it's not aliens, it's like some sort of like Chinese technology drone. I have no idea. I just think this is funny. I just think like the guy who's like, you motherfuckers, who always memed on me and made fun of me. Guess what? There's a weird potential connection. It could be nothing. I just thought it was really interesting. I hope some of you guys are Googling. You're trying to see the footage that I'm talking about. You have to watch it a little bit. But it's also, it's weird because it's recorded by, I don't know. It's one of those weird things where like the classic meme and all of alien like footage things is, why the fuck is everything so goddamn low res in our day and age? And this one's actually, in my opinion, pretty clear. Same with the jet pilot, the first one, the Tic Tac thing, whatever that be. But this one's one of the weirder ones. But it could also be, I don't think it'll be fake. It could be like someone goofed the not Pentagon, the defense, whoever released it. I have no idea. I need to know more about this situation, but I also don't, because it's a little freaky. So like, oh, well, that's terrifying. Okay, there's like pyramid-like spaceship. I don't know. It could just be nonsense. No one's saying anything, which leaves me like, okay, I've lost people. I've genuinely lost everybody. But Fluff says, I feel like the Ninha far more. Oh, I feel like Nina far more. I feel like I like. My brain just did not let me see I like again. It's like it overrid it. I feel like I like Nina far more than Shandi. I just hope they have a bit more nuance to each character and give us a chance to learn about them and not just be the one. Yeah, it's true, one niche. Yeah, I always liked when. With that being said, though, I do like that they kind of all fall into like a character type. It makes it easier to kind of comprehend a little bit. You know what I mean? Spark says, describe perfectly describe perfectly with that expression. What do you mean? Stefan says, I think, let me do. So, there's new footage, and everyone laughed at me for thinking aliens and pyramids are connected. And now there's new weird alien footage that's released by the Pentagon or something that is a pyramid ship. Okay, or a fucking drone or something, who knows. Stefan says, I think it's interesting that, yeah, man, I think, like, to me, I don't know, whenever someone like shoots down the whole any topic, really, I don't care what it is, to me it's kind of like a why can't you have fun with this perspective? It always makes me feel people are kind of closed-minded, and it's not that it's wrong. Like, there could be people who have like family members who are genuinely like, you know, like I'm sure people have response to when people talk about like legalize all drugs or something, and people who have like a family member who got destroyed by drugs are like, no, like it's like clearly coming from a place that's not even necessarily bad. It's just their experience necessarily, you know. What's good, Charlie? Charlie says, hey, what's good, Charlie? How are you? Spark says, serious question. Do you wear tinfoil hats? Not me. I don't wear tinfoil hats. That seems crazy. To me, my whole thing is what it is. You know, what am I going to do? It's like, what if there was a god? Okay. Like, what? What is that? What? Like, it does nothing for me. What if there were weapons that could absolutely, like, destroy the entire planet? Oh, wait. There is. What if we have proof that various kind of countries or powers do scummy things? Oh, wait. We do. No conspiracy here. It's a terrifying world, okay? And we are we're helpless before it, okay? Best we can do is be a little nice, enjoy the time we got, maybe fall in love, maybe try to die, leave behind a healthy body. Who knows, you know? Something. Sparks said, or that Astral Blade says, I'm just making a nice tinfoil hat. Dude, throw it on me. I love talking about this thing. To me, I don't know. To me, it's always interesting, especially the idea of like, and maybe it does speak to some sort of human piece of like the human condition. Like, why do people want to believe in a god? Like, is it mortality? Is it the fear of death? Is it the meaninglessness that can possess life in some cases? Like if there's no reason for you to be kind, besides just to be kind and to get that in return, well, is that a reason enough? It's easier to believe that there's some sort of omniscient thing that will either save you, that knows best. I don't know. Because there is that thing where I think it's like there's something about that, like aliens, that is this weird, like almost seems like the same kind of zealotry that exists within God. Like when people, like certain religious organizations get like really into the religion and then really into culty stuff and then kind of dip over into the deep end, But yeah. You and Astral Blade both made the same joke. Listen, man, you guys can't have fun conversations? Come on. That's sad to me. I always love talking about these things, and I feel like people always have a weird judgment to them. My eyes also melted. Astral Blade says, I definitely think other life is out there somewhere. Yeah, that's something that I always hear the other perspective of. Which is, it seems like there's a lot of camps. Not everyone is in the same, I'd assume, but a lot of things I've heard in response to all kinds of like clips and videos and interviews of podcasts, etc. But a lot of people, like I would say that 99% of people have the religious, a religious approach to things, which is, you're agnostic. You're basically like, I think there's high probability that there's life out there, but why the fuck would it engage with us? And yeah, which a part of me, as much as I understand, there's a human perspective on that to me, like it makes you safe. I don't mean that as a judgment. It's just the same way as people who say like again, it's the idea of like, well, what if it's an uncomfortable feeling of something being out there? It's like terrifying, especially when you have no idea what it is or what it could be. And then the other response is not like like, how hard it was to have a sun in the perfect instance. If it is, it's like a million miles away. It's way more nihilistic, way more off the other end of it. And then the other perspective is like it's totally a thing. They're amongst us. I got captured and they diddled my bum. And it's just like, why is I feel, yeah. Are you sure some sort of suppression didn't happen in your childhood and you're kind of like a memory is kind of getting weird, anyways, but yeah, to me, I do notice that's the one perspective of like, there could be life out there, but odds are we haven't encountered it. And to me, I'm just like, that kind of saves you from the creepiness of there being potentially like a doom level threat thing around us, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like, hey, we're chilling, we don't want anything, do we? Leave us be, but yeah, Spark says, what do you think about Roswell UFO incident? That one, to me, I thought was really, I hear people talk about podcasts of it. It seemed like it was a lot of, like, I don't know. That was one of the weird ones where, to me, it didn't make a lot of sense. Like, it seemed like, I don't know. That one, I don't have as much confidence in that one. That one also seemed quite old. But also, isn't there, like, weird stuff where, yeah, when we start talking about, like, the legitimacy of sightings, I just kind of go, like, I don't know, dude. What if it is? What if it isn't? What are we gonna do? Like, it just seems like a weird conversation. I like hearing people talk about, like, say if they did have some sort of weird encounter, if it was absolutely, like, in my back of my head, I'm like, high probability this is bullshit. But what if there's a 0.1% chance it could be real? And that 1% chance of real is, like, kind of unsettling. Like, kind of unsettling, also kind of interesting. Also kind of just straight up terrifying, Also, is this where our Saint hideout is? To the right there? Sorry, that looks like a really big-ass building. Also, yeah, at this point, why not? Let's switch over to... also, thank you so much. Sorry for... That looks so weird. There we go. It's a little zoomed in, but I'm going to switch to the Saints Row gameplay, although I was enjoying it, to the Genshin update, because I have no fucking... Also, stop giving me subtitles. We're going back to the Genshin up. Nope. I have that there because of save. So never mind. We're back. All right. Thank you for the cheer, Anonymous. Appreciate you. Also, is an anonymous cheer a thing, or is that a person who has the name Anonymous Cheer? I would assume it's a person with a weird but amazing name. Fluff says all but Eel have formed gang affiliations. Nell is from the Lost, Panto, Kevin is from the Idols, the Boss is from the weird like martial kind of industry. So all four of them bring an important ingredient into creating the entirety of the Saints. Yeah, but who's Ill or Eli? Sorry, Eli, right? Eli. Thank you. Thank you, Anonymous. Eli, all but Eli. So Eli is just like a random tech kid, I guess, maybe? Like a high ritzy kind of kid, maybe? Spark says, lastly, do you also believe in space travel? Do you also believe that space travel is possible? Have you heard about Mothman? I'm a big fan of a podcast called Red Web, but they're quite they have a tendency to err on like super how do I put it? Super skeptic stuff, which to me, as much as I respect and I like, keeps me kind of grounded. It also kind of has a weird feeling of like yeah, it always makes it like it takes the fun out of mysteries and like conspiracy a little bit when people are always like, well, what if it like, you know, this didn't happen? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm always happy to have that like gut punch at the end of like, it's all bullshit. We got you. You fell for it. But yeah. But lastly, the space travel one. I don't know. Is that like considered to be a conspiracy? I always thought space travel is not possible. It was weird for me. Absolutely. But Mothman to me gets weird. I think Mothman, like all of the weird like Bigfoot weirdness conspiracy theories, man, I think can make sense with like mutation within an animal, as far as the animal becoming like a god level threat or like some sort of like horrific monster. I don't know. I think maybe there's like a poor, like, I don't know, some sort of weird monkey-like thing that has its arm sliced off and has rabies and somehow got like put into like some sort of weird place and had like various attacks and people didn't know what to do with it, or people were drunk as shit and seen an animal they had no idea about and they had a passive idea of it, but then let terror build up this monster in their head. Like that to me makes more sense from all the crazy when it comes to like Mothman and there's a bunch. What is it called? It's called like Squanch. Is it Squanch? Oh, the Squanch is like the worst. Like what is it called? Like this beastie, like this weird thing. It's like it's like a monster verse kind of, but for our world. It's got like Bigfoot in there. It's got like Abominable Snowman. It's got all these things in there. Lone Singing says, hey, so I wanted to talk to you about a light novel I almost finished. Golly. It's called Do You Love Your Mom and Her Two-Hit Multiplier Attack? Yeah, we talked about this one. Yeah, it's the whole MILF weird thing. Or as the Japanese know it, MILF Isekai. Yeah, no, we've talked about it alone today. Of course, you don't need to give me this lead up. I know about this. I haven't watched it, but it looked fun. It looked weird. It looked a little yucky on certain points. A little too, you know, anime gets close. This one gets quite close, which is a little good. Mr. Spider says, meh, 50-50 for me. And there's not a lot of planets like Earth. If there is something out there, they either live on a planet similar to Earth or live on a planet that they've adapted to. Personally, I think that could be something. But to me, the one thing I like is more the psychological approach to people's belief structure. And to me, whenever someone has like, it seems like the vast majority are like agnostic, which I feel like is a very good response. It's very much like, it's what it is. And I find myself kind of in that way, except I'm way more on the As much as I don't want to admit it, I am both. I say it's terrifying. It's also, to me, a little like, it's kind of neat. It's like, would you rather live in an interesting world or a boring world? And it's like, this interesting world could be terrifying. We already live in a terrifying world. Nukes exist. We have leaders that I don't have faith in at all. Like, yeah. Fluff says, Eli is a nerdy guy that is the entrepreneur expert. Okay. And will be able to help establish a foundation of structure to the Saints Empire aspect. Yeah, which to me, I like the idea, because it was always weird to me, and it seems like they're moving the series in more of a serious approach, and then maybe if they want to get kooky, they'll do it like after a couple games, which to me makes more sense, because it kind of went hard into like kookiness really fast in Saints Row, which I think is also good because it made those games so memorable. Hey, look at Elaine. What was I saying? I like this base, because like if they make a Saints Row 2, like to me it makes more sense. It almost seems like Saints Row, they're whitewashing Saints Row 2 and building off of like a more grounded version of Saints Row 3, if that makes any sense. Like it kind of makes like the whole like become celebrity, empire weirdness, no longer having gang shit, to me was always kind of odd. So to see Eli kind of be that force that keeps pulling them into like, whoa, wait. I'll make you even more money. I'll tell you where we should like apply force or what we need to be successful. You can focus on getting it, however bloody that is. And I'll focus on making sure that's worth something, which I kind of like. I just don't know how current it is. Do you think it's going to have like this weird, like 1 foot in our world, 1 foot in the Saints kind of world of like a cryptocurrency, weird memes and shit in there? Eli's trying to get a bunch of Bitcoin or something, Spark says, didn't realize that you're a conspiracy theorist. I wouldn't say I'm a conspiracy theorist, Sparks. I would say to me I like conversations about anything. Yeah, that'd be my thing. Yeah. I think conspiracy theorist has people like yeah, I think it has a really big negative connotation to it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I also understand because there's a lot of people who are kind of excessive. My whole thing is I wouldn't even say I'm a conspiracy theorist. I wouldn't say I'm a lot of things. I would just say I think it's interesting. I like to have those conversations because I think they're interesting. Some people find them scary or destructive. I wouldn't say scary. That's the wrong word. I think some people don't like having them. I don't know why that is. But yeah, no, I think to me, like, again, some people are like, my fucking dumb girlfriend talks about astrology all the time. I hate her or something. And I'm like, I don't know. I would like to think I could have a conversation with anybody and find the wonder in it. Granted, it's not like destructive or terrible. Somebody wants to believe in a religion or something like that, I also would determine them to be lesser or judge them poorly for believing what they believe, unless it was completely the inverse of my beliefs, I guess, or my ideals, I should say. But yeah. Fluff says so. Like one of the things I like is I'm a mystery enthusiast. It's what people say. That's what Red Web people say, which I like, because it's true. It's like I think, like, so there's certain mysteries and certain things that are not conspiracies that are like 100% proven and are really cool stories, but people once called them conspiracy theories, And I always thought, well, I like the interesting aspect of like a maybe but possible real thing that could have happened. Like there's a lot of things where it's like bank robberies that like they did in China that were insane, that like this guy did it really easily but yet had made a ton of money, and it was really interesting. Like there's tons of conspiracy theories that were kind of harmless and interesting at the very least, Cryptids, that's what it's called. Yeah, cryptids. Yeah, it's the cryptids. Squatch. Fuck this squatch. Yeah. Do you watch Red Web 2, man? Because I would have had no idea about that weird animal. If you guys don't know about the squatch, the squatch is like a mythical, like goblin, like elf, weird looking, like tiny pixie, like whatever. It's this like forestal area thing. It's like a mushroom thing. I don't know. But basically, it's a hideous goblin-like elf thing that hates its appearance so much that it constantly cries. And if you look at the squatch, you become the squatch, and you body swap essentially, and then you're forever crying, stuck in the squatch's body. But it's just like, it's like the mascot for everyone who hates himself because the Squanch is in a perpetual state of hatred for his disgusting look, etc. But then you become Squanch. Oh, Lone Singed says, Elaine looking good. Looks classy as fuck. I need her in my party and her anime. Ooh, you getting pulled back in, Lone Singed. They just pulled you right back. Fluff says, conscious, what? Consistis? I can't see that word. Consistis of all the urban. Oh yeah, consists of all the urban creatures is cryptids. Yeah. Faceless says, Grin, you going to roll for Elaine cause her passive are amazing, and her ability rule is she has a 5-star water boy, but more OP. No, man. To me, I'm actually way more like I'm tempted right now to like. There's days when I'm kind of bored and I want to watch a podcast, to be honest. And I'm thinking like, hey, I could jump on Genshin and do my dailies, but I'm kind of, well, it's twofold. One, I want to get the like month away bonus so they get you back in, because if I log in right before I get that bonus, it's kind of useless. But also, I don't know if I don't know. It's like this weird thing of like I can tell that like I've stopped playing it for enough consistent days. Like I've not played for like a week, to where there's no real incentive for me to feel like I have to get in it because I'm wasting time, because like the damage is already done in my head a little bit. Like I've broken the addictive habit. And to me, I don't want to go back to the game unless it changes into a game I want to play. Like almost like voting with your dollar in a way. Unless there's a character that's like ungodly. Like I was considering jumping back in when I seen the animo like brawler, essentially like the fist punch kind of animo like things. But he's a 4-star, and I worry that he may not have enough bang for your buck. And apparently, I think he's going to be with Chi-Chi, which is going to be the thing that sells Chi-Chi's banner and kind of offsets her a little bit, so that she's kind of sells a good amount still. And to me, I don't know. Again, maybe in like the next big Fortuna or whatever it is, whatever the next one is, not Fortuna, it's something else. Maybe then they'll like add an end game. But to me, like, even if, what is it called, 2.7 or 2.8 comes out and it's like this big update, I don't know if it's just chests and quests, man. I that's not enough for me, you know. It's funny because I genuinely felt addicted for a good bit. Like when I stopped playing it, like it's not addicted so much as it's FOMO. It's like I wanted to not miss out on stuff. And like I love the characters in Genshin. They look so fucking good. She looks amazing, like insane. I love it so much, her art style. But I don't want to support the game that to me is just fetch like quests and chests, you know. And like, yeah, there's story, and that story is awesome, but we can do that in like a stream. We can catch up and like play Genshin for like a month and finally would have a bunch of story to do. But not really, because the events go away, and it's just that like FOMO weirdness, you know. And I like the game a lot, and I hope, like, you know, when the update does go like to 1.7 or 1.8, sorry, comes out, then we can play it. But to me, I that's the feeling I have a little bit Faceless. It's like I like the game a lot, and I would totally bet on it. I bet on it again if they made a genuine like step into me what would be the right direction, which is, we're going to have some sort of end game content, some sort of repeatable dungeon, but I'm tired of feeling disappointed with the game, is kind of where I'm at. And now that I've broken off of it, I felt that way for months, by the way. I want it to be something that I don't know what it will be, and if it's not going to be that, I don't know if I want it, you know? And I love the game, which sucks. It's like, to me, and also it's not like I'm asking for a lot. Like I wouldn't want like, it's just one of the updates. Put something endgame wise in there. Like it's just, that's it. It's not like, it's nothing. It's nothing in terms of an ask. Yeah, like it doesn't need, it's just one of the events. Make it stay. Golly, like this is the 5th time we've encountered Theater Mechanicus. Just leave it in the game. I just get mad. And this is also, I'm tired of caring because I'm never awarded anything for giving a shit, you know? I love the characters. I think they did an amazing game. So many people are talking about like how these other games that MiHoYo is creating, they're excited for. I I would hope that maybe they have a different perspective on what they're going to do up. Maybe they just don't want to kill their cash cow Genshin. So they're just leaving it as is, and as soon as it starts to fall apart, then they'll make sweeping changes, which I get. So maybe that's why people have faith in MiHoYo's new upcoming games. But for me, man, I'm tired of caring and getting nothing in return from caring. Because, like, nothing. I think I've had the same feeling, the same hope for the game for half a year, like a year and a half. And only when you break off from it, at least for me, are you like, oh, they've not even done anything. Like, the only thing I can think of is the housing thing. That's it. That's the only, if the 1.8 has, like, another, like, new region, it's gonna feel empty to me if it's just chests and quests. I was never the person who enjoyed exploring that much, you know? To where you're just doing, that's the thing that you have to do again and again and again. And you're like, okay. You know, so maybe that, like, the next game that MiHoYo makes, they'll have a perspective of it that's similar to Honkai Impact, which seems like it's way more like, here's some more gems, here's, like, daily quests, like, login rewards out the wazoo, all this stuff, with all the same charm and character and actual, like, gameplay feel that is Genshin, which is very, like, responsive, and, like, if you want to add complexity and have a bunch of characters and constantly swap between them and have them do different beneficial things, then that feels great. But man, I don't know. Like, if I didn't distance myself like this from Genshin, I feel like I wouldn't have felt that way, you know? Because you're stuck in this loop of, like, caring. And only until you, like, take a step back, you're like, why the fuck am I caring so much when there's, like, zero anything? There's not even, like, a slight glimmer that they have any inclination that they're like, hey, maybe we should add this, you know, maybe we should do that. And maybe I'm being a little bit too much, because, like, there are things that to me I think would be fun that I want to do but I haven't done. But, like, there's like a date kind of thing. It's not that I'm throwing the towel in Genshin. I just think I can't play it as a game that I have hope in. I gotta play it as, like, a game that I'm shocked that they've done anything correctly. And I hate to say that. Like, I see my face getting angry as I say that, because it is. Like, to me, I think, oh, maybe we could go and jump in eventually, maybe in 3 months, and play her story quest if they add that. Or, like, play Noelle's story quest. Or just do that whenever I want to change things up. But man, like... And it sucks because, like, I think that's why I'm so mad, is that I did try to hang in there. I gave money to the game. I would have loved to give it money again if it started moving in the direction that I actually wanted to play more of, like an end game, which they didn't. That's the thing that constantly I come back to, is they would not have to add anything. They could just keep it in for one rotation of a season, of, like, a consistent thing to do constantly, like, and they could take it out if it was, like, storage capacity. Have, like, one consistent end game replayable thing that resets every week or day. Day would be great, even if it was just Mora. Maybe Mora and, like, the chance of detonating like a 5 primo gems or something, that was permeated within one update cycle. So patch version 2.7 would have one concurrent end game activity or consistent procedural thing that you could play, but it was nothing like that. So to me, I'm just like, yeah. And I hope Tower of Fantasy has, like, Tower of Fantasy seems to be way more of, like, the game that I kind of, the experience I kind of want in terms of an end game. Like, it seems like there's tons of things to do, lots of quests, you can play co-op crazy, it looks like, I think. And there's, like, dungeons, there's, like, bounties, yeah. And then people say that you can do both, and maybe that's actually, like, a good future. Because, yeah, you'd have a game that you can grind and a game that you can kind of just jump in and play for 2 seconds. I don't know. Which are both heavily monetized in such a blatant way. I don't know. Yeah, I like Genshin a lot, but to me, I kind of feel, like, disenchanted by investing in it, I guess. At least, and again, to me, it's like the thing that people always say, which is, what is it called? Bet with your, how do they say something with your wallet? Like, bet with your wallet, or, like, voice your not enjoyment with your wallet or something like that. And that's kind of where I'm at. Although, granted, I haven't spent. I stopped buying the battle pass even, or not battle. I stopped buying the Welcome Moon. because that was another thing that they also got you hooked on. Like, there's so many like things that made you like locked in, and I knew they were there. I just didn't think that they would be very present for me. Like, you know, I kind of maybe have an ego about your perspective of like getting addicted to things, but like you're also kind of like, yeah, like I haven't been enjoying this for a good bit. Not that I haven't been enjoying, I've liked playing with you guys, and I think like some of the things are fun, but yeah. And again, especially when people are dropping thousands of dollars and you still have to spend a shit ton on resin and stuff. Yeah, like the game never made a concession ever. For like, hey, we've made billions of dollars. Here's something for you. You know, it was never that way. And if it was like something that was just there for a split moment in time. You know. Left says Sasquatch, Yeti, Capybara, Mothman. Oh no, Chupacabra, is that right? Mothman, Wiggies, etc. What is that? Wendigo, yeah, Wendigo. Many of them also have more native North and Central American superstition, sort of like with werewolves and vampires, things like myth in Europe. Oh, really? Did werewolves actually have like a mythos? Okay, neat. And then we've got the latest version of evaluating of cryptocurrency in the form of SCP stuff. Really? Ooh, I bet that's weird. I bet people don't like that. Like SCPs, the like horror, like the horror story things. GRINN is the devil's advocate incarnate. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, I do like that. I do. Well, to me, my whole thing is that like, how do you know if you are even like right, or if you're even like, yeah, I don't know. To me, people have said like, oh, you try to be a contrarian, or you're a centrist. I've heard all these things, and to my whole life, I just like genuinely talking about things, and like the only way I can have a greater understanding, the only way you can have a greater understanding, if we unravel this tangled mess together, you know, and we can see what others come to conclusions of and things like that, you know. Oh no, that familiar with that. Not familiar. Yeah, that one's recent. I just heard about that one. It also sounds like it's kind of like a niche, weird, freakish thing. More of a meme cryptid than anything. Squanch, I thought you were talking about Rick and Morty. Is that a thing? Oh no, I was talking about that. Stefan says, here we have the Jersey Devils. Also one heard about. Yeah. There was a bunch. Yeah. Some weird creatures in the Pine Lands. Yeah. Well, it makes sense, man. If you guys have you guys ever went into like a dark forest? Shit is like, it's something in you is screaming like get the fuck out. Like, it's not good. It's obvious. Your ancestors probably got ate or mauled to death, and like survived, and like have deep ingratiated memories, or like genetic code carved into your genetic history, etc. Fluff says, I am not finding anything called that. The Squanch. Yeah. Outside of stuff related to Rick and Morty and the game dev studio, they have called Squatch Games. Yeah, no, it's a weird cryptid. It's like I think is it Squanch? I think it's Squanch. I might send it to you guys in like the Discord. Also, Fluff, I forgot to send you that mecha show. I mean to do that actually, but I kept forgetting all week. Also, we've been recording a lot, but yeah. And an Urban Dictionary entry that I wished I didn't read. Ew. The carrot on the stick for Genshin is the hope for an end game. Yeah, man. But it's like, I don't know, man. Think of can you guys think of the last event that you genuinely thought was just amazing? To me, all of it was like, okay. It's kind of fun. But like, to me, like, that's why when I took a break from it and I was playing Wonderlands, and I'm like, when you get a build syncing up and feeling good, it feels fun. And like, you're sequencing, you're playing with your friends, like, it feels good. And it sucks because Genshin has the best, like, I think that's why it's so addictive. Is like, it's addictive to have hope in this game. Because it's like, it has such a good, it has co-op, It has like a good combat system. All of us have investment in the game like you wouldn't believe. Like characters that we love and invested in. We know their stories. Like everything in the game is made to grab you by the balls and lock you in there. And you're just like, what am I to do? Stop playing it? And it's just like, yeah, there's other games out, man. And again, I think when more games start to come out and they're like consistently updating themselves, because that's the other thing. The Genshin does feed their player base for better or worse. Sometimes you're eating shit, other times you're eating pretty. But yeah, I think we need another game that has like a consistent update cycle, but also knows what people get satisfied by. Like I don't think a lot of the updates people get a lot out of. Again, I think you'd be surprised at like the classic MMO thing of like doing bounties. Even MMOs though don't do what I think people need to do, which is you need to have incentives and like rewards and like procedural things that make you feel like you're doing something. Like if by doing an X amount of bounties, you could have a random chance by doing and handing in a bounty to get a special weapon, and that was the only way to get. Like Destiny had that. It was like one of the special ways to get certain legendary exotics or something. Exotics, what they were called in Destiny. Lone Singing says, I mean, I've been looking forward to Yelane ever since the leaks, but I haven't been playing as much myself. Yeah, man. Like to me, I don't disparage anyone for enjoying Genshin. It's just I think people who are enjoying it are always the people who didn't mind hunting chests. I would be surprised if those people, like when version 2.8 or 2.3, whenever there's like a brand new region or a new area with a bunch of new like things to do, which if it's only chests and maybe a few quests that give you nothing but Mora and are not voiced. Are you going to want to do that again and like again and again? And maybe you play it like, no, I'll come back every big update to a new area. And at that point, I haven't played for such a long time that the chests and quests actually will be a nice, refreshing thing. Maybe that's what I'll do from now on. I don't know. But yeah. Faceless says, it's cool to take a break if you don't want to burn out. Yeah, well, it's not even about burning out, man. It's just like a feeling of, I hate making a bad investment, essentially, you know? And it sucks because like now I talked to you guys about this beforehand. The stoinks are kind of high in the Genshin community because everyone's not doing it anymore. Everyone's done at the same time, which is unfortunate. Like now was the time to get in and start covering shit. Yeah, you know? Also, you're really tapping on a tiny little drum. Okay, weird. But yeah, like all the content creators, like everyone's dried up. At least all of the content creators that I've seen, that I've been subscribed to, they like upload once in every 2 weeks, and it's usually like a personality video. But like there's content that you could make of Genshin. You know, like like you could make weird videos with people. You could also make videos of like, what was the one? Like I seen one Tenha, which is cool. Tenha made one recently, which was like, what if Genshin never had fast travel? So I think his whole point was to just like never fast travels for like a whole 6-hour stream, which is like, that was fun. That's a fun idea, concept, and if you have good meme edits, it could be a fun video, you know. But even then, that's not like actually having a game, you know. That's like a content creator just using Genshin as like a tool set, I guess. Astroblade says the best part of the game for me was exploring, so I won't be going back until the whole world is I see. Yeah. See, but that's my thing. A lot of people who want exploring want to do. Well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe next update when there's a bunch of new to explore, then that'll be when you jump back in. I feel like even for those people, I feel like you get burnt out a little bit on just the exploring. Like I feel like at the 5th time you would come back for a big title update, even if it does take a year to do. I feel like you'd be like, all right, I'm kind of. And also, what are the odds that you're gonna be that aware that there's a brand new update or a brand new world, you know? Fluff says, honestly, the content with this update seems about the same as before, so it's not really it's not really hooking me outside of the new character design. Yeah, man, that's the thing that kills me, Fluff, is the character design is fucking awesome. Like, it's so good, and they've nailed it. That's why I'm also excited for Tower of Fantasy, man. Like, to me, like, they also seem like there's a lot of cool characters in there. But yeah. And also, Tower of Fantasy seems like it has a lot of like mechanics that I want to see evolved. Like they have like a shitty driving mechanic that looks terrible, but like if every update they were like, we've improved it, and that feels like you're a part of something genuinely growing, you know? Stefan says, sometimes I watch Genshin streams and I'm like, nope, not spending time on that again. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's like, I think so many content creators just use it as like a backdrop because it is a very like lo-fi, peaceful kind of game. At this point, everyone has such cracked builds that you're kind of just derping around. Like you're not even playing really. So it does just make kind of like a fun, weird thing, you know? Fluff says that's where the other game that are closer to Honkai appeals to a bit more, since every character actually seems to be unique with the weapon type, animations, and such. But I also figure the gameplay won't be much more than a small arena fighter with a lot more flash, but not much substance. Yeah, man. Well, I don't know if I dislike that. I don't know if, like, I played Destiny with strikes for, like, hours on end, you know? So I don't know if I dislike the whole, like, arena-like phases, you know, similar to Borderlands or Wonderlands right now. I don't know if I dislike that. I dislike the feeling of, like, everyone being ignored and like, I don't know. I guess to me, I would want the developers to come out and explicitly say what they want from the game. And yeah. But also, I think that's the thing that people are like, couldn't you make a little bit of a concession? Like, we're not asking for, like, a big-ass endgame, 5 different types of spiral abysses. We're just looking for, like, one of the events that you dedicated money to making, to leave it permanently in the game, at least the update cycle, and have it have... This is the other thing. Genshin is single-handedly the worst company I've ever seen at doing rewards. Like, and always, you get, like a couple dollars of Mora, but you're also still locked behind resin and stuff like that, you know? To me, like, I think Genshin is like, if a company looked at Genshin and said, what if we just do that, but instead have no resin cap, and also have, instead of like updates that go away, we'll have one update that stays permanently, and that's based on the first maybe half year's support of what people liked each event the most. Then we'll build that out as an actual endgame mechanic and we'll put it into the game. If they just did that, I think it would be insane. But I haven't seen any company besides Tower Fantasy and what's the other game? The like 7 Deadly Sins game. But yeah, like Fluff says, look at how cool Kiki's attack chain is. Meanwhile, most people won't use or use a regular exactly, Fluff, exactly. Yeah, it's like, look how cool she looks. It's not viable at all, actually. Basil says, what about Forspoken or Arkham Knights? Forspoken looks Forspoken looks awesome. I can't wait. Forspoken looks cool. It's an isekai game. The only thing I wish I could play a dude, because I like to roleplay. And by roleplay, I don't mean actually roleplay. I just mean to, like, feel like I'm the idiot using magic and shit. Like, that's my thing. But it looks awesome. But I think undoubtedly, I would be willing to bet a lot on Forspoken being pushed. Like, probably by a year. Because we've seen gameplay like really quick from it, and it was looking rough. But also, I've heard nothing about it. Like, at this point, I think it's supposed to be coming out this year, quote unquote. Oh, really? That's a little bit Fungo Pop things. Okay. Hey, you know what Genshin needed more of? More monetary incentives. Hell yeah. In a time when most creators are screaming that there's nothing to do and not enough to do. But no, as far as Arkham Knights, I'm not as excited for Arkham Knights. I'm more excited for the Suicide Squad game, because it's more of akin to Batman Arkham City, which I liked a lot, especially if it's co-op based. Like, imagine like a Batman Arkham City where you could just jump in, we could stream it as a community. You guys could jump in, we could just fuck shit up together. Like, that sounds awesome. Although I called the Techno Pobo guy. Lone Singer says, Fluff, you are right about that. About the one thing, yeah. Never being able to use their normal attacks. Fluff says, like, how many of us actually rely on normal attacks unless they get infused with an element outside of something like Itto, which is more of just hold heavy and stack up things eventually. Yeah. All in all, Genshin was fun distraction while it lasted, but it's pace was slowed down significantly, and the loop of new content takes months to a year to actually feel fresh. Yeah, man. Well, again, like the one thing I always hate is like I feel like there was a way to do things in a good way. I just think Genshin, if we were to dissolve what we feel about Genshin and look at it from like a business perspective, everything makes complete sense, at least to me. Like the notion of like, I think MiHoYo was blown away at its success. They then bought like CEOs, or maybe they were already owned by like a chair like of investors, etc. And then they appointed like someone to like keep making it grow. And then like they basically were like, well then don't touch it, don't fix what's not broken, just kind of go the course. And then they're like, what are people willing to spend the most money for? Characters. And of course, what have we been saying this entire time? The one thing that makes me want to get back into Genshin is the characters, is how cool they look, how amazing their design is, how fun their kit looks. It's literally what they've been investing in. And yeah, it's like again, it's like, don't rock the boat, which maybe, and this is my only, like, this is the best I got for people who have like a little bit of hope left into you, but I want to throw my hope away at this point. I think the hope is that like maybe MiHoYo made a bunch of money and they're like, okay, well, people keep saying they want a game that's like a bingeable game, like a game that they can just grind to hell. We'll make that for you. Also, I didn't loop this. Loop it. Okay. Loop. But yeah, I think that's what they're wanting deeply. So I think that's what they've maybe done, because they've greenlit a shit ton of titles, like a shit ton. So yeah, I think they're expecting also Genshin to taper off, but I think it's because it's their fault. I think Genshin could have maintained its, especially if like they did a resurgence of like, hey, and they might do that, maybe 2.8, maybe that's what's taken so long for it to be made outside of the kind of horrible situation that they're existing in within their studios. Yeah, maybe that's something, you know. I am personally glad I never spent a cent on the game. Only time, yeah, no, that's a good too. To me, I had enough enjoyment out of the game that I felt. To me, I do feel like a little bit. It was too much. I think it was might have been $200 at this point. Actually, it was just with the Welcome Moons over time, which wouldn't have been that high. I don't think if I were to not have spent in the whole diamond things. But I actually don't hate that, because I spent like a half a year playing it, like actually a whole year playing it. You know. And also, it was very enjoyable. I met a lot of you guys and like formed good relationships with you guys whilst playing it, you know. So I don't regret spending money on it, because I got a lot out of it, I guess. I'd say ZZZ. ZZZ seems cool. I like the art style at least. The theme is appeal to me more personally, so I'm definitely gonna try it out. Already signed up for the beta or whatever they do, or whatever they call it. Yeah, man, I'm so terrible with stuff like that. Like signing up to betas and whatnot. I would like it, but is it for console, or sorry, is it for PC, or is it only for phone? Because I don't want to play it on my phone, you know. Also, I hope that's what they realize from Genshin, is that there's a value to having it on PS4, to having it on PC, especially PC. I think 90% of the streamers who are like some of the biggest advertisement machines for the game played it on PC, you know. Lone Syndicate says, for me, I don't regret spending all the money on Genshin. It was fun while it lasted, but time to just sit back and see how things turn. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. Again, I don't think people should have a regret for playing it, but I do think I do have a regret for the lack of action, I guess, and the lack of hope, like, or the lack of like feeling silly, because I had hope. I wanted the game to become something, and there's literally nothing. There's no sign there will ever become anything like that. And if there is, I'm gonna look at it with a loaded dice of skepticism, you know. But by that I mean, you like to discuss things, even if it's not your personal belief. You present things as general curiosity. I can't read that. Let me see. Curiosity, and went to do what you just explain yourself as. And what to do what you explain yourself. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the hope fluff. I think I don't know if it's for everybody, because I do find if anybody is like that, if anybody like has the whole devil's advocate, or like the open mind, I don't know what you'd call it, it oftentimes to me leads me to have less. It's weird. It could just be an execution problem for sure, but I find people tend to think that that I believe things I don't, because I try to like account for, like, I want to know why you believe what you believe, so I give you things that to me are hard to push down, like the reason, I guess. I try to give reason to the other side, and then I think people think that I'm on that side. And I'm like, no, I just genuinely want to understand you, and this is allowing me to deeply understand you. And then it's better if I eventually pause and then I start like, I'm on your team now, and then I tell you why I think those things don't make sense to me, and they agree usually, and it works out better that way. But then people think I'm combative, and I don't know. To me, I've been one of the things it makes me kind of unhappy, to tell you the truth, but people say that I am very argumentative, I guess, or combative, and to me it's like I hate that that's the feeling I give to people, because I don't like making people feel like they're on their toes or like having to have anxiety when talking to me, and I tend to not be that way, and I've kind of changed me a little bit in that way, but I can't change that person who I want to understand people, I guess, and I don't know. It's one of those things that's always unfortunate, because I don't know how to really. It's hard to fix it. Yeah, there's a way I would hope that you could communicate with another person, build them up sufficiently and their belief and their perspective to a degree in which you can then present another perspective to then allow that perspective to enable you having a greater perspective of their understanding. Very wordy. Very wordy sentence. Ugh. Also, Shao is getting another rerun? Or did he not have one yet? He might not have had one yet. Anyway. But I appreciate that, Fluffa, by the way. I would consider that to be quite the compliment. I enjoy that trait, frankly, within a person who plays devil's advocate, because that's not even just the only reason, man. The thing that, makes me hate certain aspects of the internet is, does no one realize that every single human being in the world has the capacity to be an absolute monster, like a Hitler, horrible, cruel? You defined your circumstance, the world, the trauma, the pain created this monster in you. But also people have the absolute astonishing ability to become incredibly good, regardless of circumstance and etc. So you have a monster that you can become, and a grace incarnate, essentially, that you can also be. So the fact that people look at people with so much judgment and disgust for a belief, when that all comes from a certain place, and in order to even make a dent in that and their understanding, you have to understand where that place is coming from. So you have to listen, and you have to play devil's advocate. You have to think from the perspective. You have to think that they're not just, you can't write them off, etc. Which I see a lot on the internet now. People want to throw people away, and it's like, well, how would you feel if the world finally gave you that back? If they threw you away, if they told you that you were a monster, if they told you that you were disgusting or racist or phobic against anything, I don't know if that solves anything. But yeah, I enjoyed the snow event, the dungeons runs with the paper samurai buddy, and you get to the end. Yeah, no, I like the paper of the dungeon event, but that's what I mean. If that event was just that stayed permanently, that would be awesome. I would feel a lot different if there was multiple things that were any sort of concessions, any sort of hey, we kept Theater Mechanicus in there. We're gonna keep the resetting dungeons that seems like so much work to throw away. God. But otherwise, most of the Genshin events have felt tedious. I feel like a chore. I've been having much more fun playing other games with a better gameplay loop. Yeah. The people that likely will stick with Genshin to a consistent level are those that also have stuck with the prior gacha games and haven't dispelled funds whenever they want to dump into pools. Yeah. Or the streamers that are keeping their audience entertained by spending hundreds of thousands per banner. Yeah, that's also a thing that was surprising. As in Genshin, there was it was some sort of mass, it's like a mass hypnosis kind of thing of there's something so mesmerizing about that, I guess, to some degree, because those clearly do well and they make back their money in fold, in tenfold. The event that I like the most are just the combat. Just throw me into a group of enemies and let me use the characters I like, that I've spent time and effort into creating, and money into getting and building, just to tear things apart. Yeah, that's everyone's favorite event. I would be shocked if they seen any like value in like the flute event. Like I imagine that like it's something like there's clearly like a mobile audience that finds this rhythm thing fun, but if they ever release the numbers to us of what was doing the best, yeah. But also I think that's not important to them. I don't know if like they could see 1,000, like there's surveys. Everybody does surveys. I think most people who have played the game in a little bit, who have cared, have made one survey thing, and everyone says the same things forever. So I think they have all of the metrical data that they need. I just think it's like, don't rock the boat. It's still cash cow. Like, let's not, if we change too many things, maybe that would mean that we don't make money. Cause maybe maybe this new event that we make is going to make it so that this causes us to make stronger characters. And then people are going to get mad at us, and then people could boycott the game. Like, I'm sure they're worried about any sort of turbulence. All right, let me rephrase what I meant by arena fighter. Think of the spiral abyss, how it's a big circle with little to no visible yeah, I can see that being a little bit less inspired. That's what games like Honkai mostly amount to in terms of gameplay. It's what ZZZ has shown thus far. Finding a circle, square, arena where it's just a brawl. Yeah, that might get a little bit redundant fast. You load into said arena, fight the enemies, reset, repeat. Yeah, seems like a lot. Ugh. That's not surprising at all. Pretty sure there's already a few Nendoroid for Genshin as well. Both Nuko and Good Smile thrive off pop culture collectibles. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, the collab. I agree with that. Yeah, the pop culture, the little thing. What you mean, Grin? You can walk around and collect mint like haven't collected 99 mint yet. What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things for me to do in the game. It's just I don't really feel inspired to do them. I don't like there's no incentive or even like reward to do them, besides like the experience of a story, and I'm like, I mean, if I had excessive time, then sure, but yeah, Faceless says, I've been playing Evil Dead, and it's fun. Wish you could have more abilities, but then it would be too OP. Faceless, I love watching that game, by the way. I'm happy to hear you're playing it. But to me, one thing I wish they would do, just from like my like far away perspective of it, I wish there was deeper investment in the skills. Like, I hope they have an update that makes it so that like if you wanted to like super push your thrall, you could do that. Like, eat more ticks to invest, but also make it so that like you have to eventually try. Like, it's a little bit disheartening to me at the very end. It seems like all like you can essentially have everything, like your whole skill tree is leveled up. That to me is a little bit shitty. Whereas like if you could invest all into traps and you just fucking shotgun through traps and level that thing up so much, and there were so many passive abilities that made it so worth. But you also had to make a concession on that where you couldn't get all of the things. You get specialized, but like in 3, or you could get kind of all of them half in. Not only would that give you some sort of baseline understanding for like taking time to know and map out what you're going to invest in the most, to me would be nice, And it would also make certain characters that have like certain play styles. Like I think the puppet in that game allows you to like take control of somebody, and every time you hit somebody, you gain like what is called like aggression or evil points. It's basically like the thing that gives you power, like allows you to level up. Drive the sales to keep people coming back for new characters. Yeah, it seems like the classic character core for gacha games. Yeah, Fluff's correct, probably. At least initially, but they think they come with Android devices. They come to console later. Gotcha. Hydrate, thank you. Probably is really old. I talked a lot about Genshin, so we're really behind. I'd say you're not argumentative or combative, but you have a drive to challenge others' views. to achieve a better understanding for one other. Well, that's my hope, Bluff. That's gonna make me tear up. That's how I feel. I just feel like I'm not the best at executing it, or I might just have certain people around me who don't like being pushed back or challenged. They want a person to agree with them, which I think everyone needs a person to like understand them and just say, like, be a therapist and say, yes, you are right. You've nailed it. 100%. But me, I'm like, I feel like how do you know if you're right unless you can describe in a way how you're right? I'm not judging you. I just want to understand. Yeah. A lot of people just view this confrontation and shy away from it to put up to fight. Yeah, but what's the thing? I think hopefully that's the silver lining. That's the skill development thing, where like you could become so good at communicating, hopefully, that you could be careful not to let people put up those walls. The feeling of like being judged, or feeling of your beliefs being you having to change because somebody's bringing ulterior information. You know. A lot of people barely take that time to understand themselves, let alone other people. I love understanding other people, though. The more I understand about others, the more I understand about myself. And the more I understand about myself, the happier I can be, you know? Many will embrace the comfort provided by online anonymity to the point where it's bled back into how they treat others in person. We've seen just how ugly things can be and have gotten thanks to that. Yeah, it's true. You asked what we're honestly enjoying about any past events. That was what I liked. I had relatively positive memories about. Other events didn't really stick with me. No, I knew what you're saying. Yeah. Gacha games thrive off of the fear of missing out, FOMO, and if they add too many bits of content, they don't have a limited time duration. They lose a lot more profile. Yeah, that kind of makes sense too. Yeah, the whole fear of missing out is the main driver rather than like enjoyment of content. You know, it's like we can make addictive content and have it be going away. Yeah. I would say I really like Elaine's ability design, and at least they'll actually see active use compared to normal attacks. Yeah, at least it's something. DBD has their blood web progress system for both killers and survivors, so I can figure that's something that Evil Dead game can take inspiration from in order to have more satisfying metagame. Well, I'm not sure if you've seen it, Fluff, but they're like, the killers have like an actual skill tree, it looks like, and you can invest in certain like probes like within this actual, like, it's huge. It's not like, I think Dead by Daylight has like a kind of a limited charm slot kind of thing, I thought, but this one has like a whole ass skill tree with I think it's like 5 killers or something like that, so each one has like a huge web of skills. I think survivors also have those things, and they're pretty huge. It's like, I think there's one of them was there's like a skeleton guy. It's like evil, the main guy from Evil Dead with the chainsaw arm. Him, he has an evil monster version of himself. It's kind of like a skeleton summoner. But you can get like a summon that summons like a flute and basically just buffs the shit out of you. But you can increase within the skill tree pretty deep in there to give it like stupid range. Then you just basically plop something down like far away, and then you just keep juicing yourself up, you know? Fluff says, I will say I really like Elaine's ability. All right, read that. The irony is that social media has done the exact opposite of developing healthy socializing. Well, yeah, that's to me where, like, I don't know why, man, but I never got into social media at all. Stefan says, is there really any social media? I think this is pretty social. Well, maybe not for everybody. Some people just play the game, but for this, it's pretty social. But also, you guys give me a good bit of the benefit of the doubt, and I hope I give that back to you guys on occasion. I realize sometimes I might jump the gun, and I hate that about me, but yeah. And that's Stefan. I had the same thing about, like, I have no interest in, like, I'm the guy who has the account that no one will ever look at. Like, the only one that makes me feel like kind of like neat is if I had an even pseudo exciting life, like if I ever went on a walk or a hike or something, I would take a picture and like put it up to a gallery of my friends that like want to know where I hiked or like want to see something cool, but I wouldn't do selfie things, unless I wore like a suit, because I think that's kind of a given. You're looking fresh, you want to shoot, like, look at this, dude, I look clean right now. But that's kind of it, but like Twitter, to me, I have zero interest in throwing out my opinion to like a bunch of people. Like, I don't know what it is, but there is nothing more crazy to me than what Twitter kind of is, in terms of like from the person who's using it kind of platform. Like the idea that you're in an assembly or you're like on the side of the street and you're like, hey, so like this seems crazy to me, or like, hey, just hey, and then you say anything is insane to me. It's crazy. I'm there like, I'm just doing my thing, going about my business, leave me be, I'm here, or like, I'm sure this is not, like, this perspective could be somehow challenged. I haven't thought of this through enough, or like, maybe, like, I feel like this is kind of just my first initial take, which I feel like is often misguided, or like lacking of understanding all the weird variable things, Oh, my voice. I've recorded so many videos today to where my voice is just super fucking... I feel like the cords in my throat, not good. Not good. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of the devil, yeah, that's why. It's because we just reached the breaking point for my vocal cords normally, without having talked the whole day. I made a Wonderlands video, checking out some more of the legendaries. I can't wait to upload those. We made a couple meme videos. We made a Let It Die video, jumping in game, looking at the new hat, stuff like that. Yes. But ladies and gentlemen, we are winding down. Is there anybody that we should go quickly raid? Also, I never paused my thing. Oh, also, before we talk about that, Luca's not streaming. That's all I gotta check up. Let's see. But let me see. Please give me a person, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a name that we could go raid, because we need a name. Right? We need to go spread the love around. Tell someone that they're lovely. That's what we need. Okay. But I will say. Oh, I was gonna say that I had it and then I lost it again. What was it? Oh no, it's completely gone. Something about games, Wonderland, recording. I completely lost it. God damn it. I like that chat. I like the chat here. Their thought provoke. I appreciate that, man. I don't know about that. I do my best to have a fun time with you guys. I told you guys beforehand, but my idea of our stream, especially this one, is I don't know, to me, I perceive it as like it's been raining. You're on the way, walking through a rainy street. There's no one there. Maybe there's a couple off in the distance. There's a lot of these lights lighting a pathway in the gloomy rain. And you see a little cafe or whatever, a little kind of bar, a little pocket in the wall kind of thing. You open it. It's got this glowing light from the door. You open it. You immediately agree with some people being, "What's good, dude? Hello." And you're just talking amongst friends who are not judging you too poorly. We're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and you're just hanging out. You can just sit back and listen to the conversation, or you can contribute. You can listen to a madman, like ramble, etc. for huge amounts of time. But yeah. Fluff says, I'd say this little community is a big exception to the rule of social media. I mean, I hope that's not the case. Maybe we can forge a path where it's not that way. Although, I don't know, I feel like it's a little egotistical, but just to feel like that way. Stefan says, I'm glad I stumbled upon it. So something good came from YouTube. I mean, I like the YouTube. The YouTube is one of the ones I actually quite like as a social media thing. Although it is quite a little bit one-sided, right? But it's just kind of like fun to see all these, like, especially people who make like guided videos or like very concise. I like them a lot. I suggest Ruumi. I was gonna say, Fluff. I seen Connor had a collab with this person, and she was a traditional Japanese speaker, but she was communicating English, but she wasn't great at, like, English wasn't her first language. And oh my god, it was cute. It reminded me of that person you really liked, who, when she was trying to make an effort to talk English, speak English, but they just have such a fucking cute way of, like, speaking broken English that it's just like, oh my god, it cures depression in a way, you know. Love says, however, I likely to excuse myself in a moment. Need to sort out a minute. Yeah, go eat, buddy. We're about to wind down anyway. Stefan says, I comment on YouTube can be pretty... Yeah, no, that's right, man. Yeah, comments on YouTube can be pretty bad. But you also gotta take the good with the bad, I think. You know, like, yeah, like, to me, one of the things that's always is, like, hard. It's really hard. But, like, you could get 50 comments saying pretty lovely things about you, but you could get, like, 5 or 10 really, like, comments that aren't just kind of, like, objectively mean, but are kind of, like, judging your creation a little bit. Like, this guy talks way too much that I think everyone would lose interest. Like, that's way worse than someone being like, you're fucking ugly, or you're disgusting. Like, I would totally take that than someone being like, actually, I think he's just really unfunny. And you're like, okay. Like, oh fuck. You know, it's just so much worse. Like, there's, like, these levels of comments. But no, I've said this beforehand. I am consistently waiting for the day for people to come into our chat and just be fucking mean as shit. I'm ready for the day when we have a YouTube video where people are just ruthless. I have shockingly had very little experience, especially on stream. The only thing I've seen is we have, like, bots that come into our chat on occasion. That's the only, like, if you look at all of our mod activity, it's just bots being purged. Like, I think it's been like 5 months since we've had someone toxic pop in at all. Like, I've been ungodly lucky, and maybe it's because I don't have a lot of reach. Because, yeah, videos have been all kind of good and bad, and we're just only recently getting momentum a little bit. But yeah. Fluff says, oh yeah, it's precious seeing the earnest effort of non-English speakers, often Japanese folk, trying to speak English. Yeah, man. Well, to me, it's like whenever there's, like, Japanese entertainers seem to have, like, a very, like, positive spin on almost everything. Like, the way they communicate seems to be very happy. Like, their voice sounds like it's meant to sound like they're really joyful. So to have somebody speak in English in such a joyful way, but then also in kind of like a broken way, is super wholesome, you know. Fluff says, there's a schoolyard insult, and when there's the thought out criticism, the latter is the one that is impactful. Well, it's not even like it's thoughtful criticism. It's kind of like a criticism that you can't really change. You know what I mean? Like, there's one thing to say, like thoughtful criticism is actually, like, to me, really nice. Like, when someone's like, hey, I think the video is too long, I think it would be better if you made it shorter or something like that. I'm like, okay. But then also it's like, well, is this what everybody wants, or is this just what this one person wants? You kind of got to benefit around. But then it's the things where people are like, they say just the right thing, where it's just like I don't think you're nearly as entertaining as you think you are, or something like that. Like, it's mean, but it is also like a weirdly specific, like, maybe they're right. Maybe I have too much ego. maybe I it's like this. It's like, it's not even necessarily a criticism so much as it's like it's like a thoughtful insult. It's like, but not like like, I don't mean thoughtful as in, like, kind. I mean thoughtful as in, like, the person genuinely thought about one aspect of yourself that they could specifically call out and say, yuck. You know, instead of just saying yuck, they're like, that specifically, you know. It's like when someone says, like, you're a piece of shit. I don't know many people who would be, like, that bent out of shape. But if someone came up to you and said, dude, your fucking breath stinks, get the fuck away from me, that's mean. It's so mean. Okay, that makes anyone, or like someone talks about how you have fucked up teeth or something, and she's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit, because that's just mean. You know what I mean? That's what I meant by well. Oh, I see. So, like, yeah, well thought out, hits nail on the head kind of thing. I got what you're saying. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been nothing but lovely. That was one thing I wanted to talk to you guys real quick about. I fuck up, basically. So I have the stream archives from the previous week. Unfortunately, just because of the chaos of last week, how I was like working every single day till 8 till 5, then we were streaming, then I was quickly trying to exercise and like eat, and then like edit videos. It was like packed to where I just didn't have the time to make a thumbnail for the archive footage of last week on GRINN. So you guys gonna be getting 2 of those. I know it's odd. I don't want to spam you guys either in that weird way. It's also like an ungodly amount of content to watch. But yeah, I just thought I would let you guys know it was just one of the, hopefully I'll get better at uploading the stream archives almost instantaneously to YouTube, but problems, needless to say. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go raid this person that Fluff told us about. I bet they're nothing but lovely. Fluff has great taste. I really hope they do not have a system that is weird. Also, hey, they're making mac and cheese. They're making mac and cheese. Living their best life, okay? I wonder if I should wait for them to finish making mac and cheese before we raid them. We might do that. Hey guys, let's just chat for a little bit longer until mac and cheese has been made. I feel like mac and cheese is quite the ordeal to create. Yeah, I feel like mac and cheese is not nothing. Yeah, I feel like that's, I don't know why you wouldn't just be like, hey guys, we're gonna boot up the stream in a hot minute. Fluff says, it's fine, GRINN. YouTube already has the limited notifications notified to up to 3 per channel, so 2 is fine. Yeah, they were playing a Tales of Zestra. Could be Easy Mac. Easy Mac? Oh, Easy Mac and Cheese. Is that like a, I don't know what that is. Is that like just a piece of like microwavable like mac and cheese? Oh no. Oh, I see. I was, for whatever reason, I was perceiving mac and cheese as a well, first of all, mac and cheese is actually pretty, I think it's like rice. It still takes some time, like 20 minutes or 15 minutes maybe. But what do you call it? I was thinking, for what reason, I'm thinking of grilled cheese. I don't know why. I was thinking of grilled cheese instead of mac and cheese. But still, mac and cheese is, yeah, maybe it's like a quick cup you just throw in the microwave, or the, yeah, microwave, 2 minutes. Not bad. Stefan says, good night, GRINN. TKS as always. What does that abbreviation mean? What does that mean? TKS? Is it talk? What is it? Let me look at it. Where is it? It's talk. Thanks. Is that what it says? Thanks? Oh, it's just, okay. It's abbreviated thanks. Gotcha. Thanks for the stream as well. Okay. Thank you so much for being so sweet, Stefan. Hopefully we can see more of you. You're nothing but a delight. I'm happy to see you're becoming more regular. Always love talking to you. Fluff says, which is just add water, cheese powder, and pasta, and a microwave. Gotcha. Okay, I was thinking of grilled cheese for whatever reason. Speaking of grilled cheese, I think I'll make that for my, dude, grilled cheese always hits. All right, granted, maybe you have it too much in consecutive order, fuck you up a little bit. Stefan says, sorry. No, it's all good, Stefan. Don't say apologize for that, man. I can barely spell, and I 100% understand people abbreviating things. I am just so out of the loop of like texting that I have no conception of like that, you know, like communication in that regard. I fucking hate texting, frankly. I'm terrible at spelling. I'm slow. I overthink when I'm writing back as well. I just like to be like, I want to talk to you as a human being. That's why I like to stream a lot. Granted, it's also helped me improve on reading, which I know, a joke, because I'm terrible at it, but I've improved a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to go work out. And the more I sit here, I also have to edit a video today. But, for those guys who want to watch a fun meme video, no memes today. Instead, it's us talking about an anime that I genuinely thought was just so good. Like it's one of the most comfy, cozy animes ever. We uploaded a little baby like tease of what the video is and what the realist hero kind of is, but then we added stuff on top on the like podcast anime talk kind of on Share Your Grin. So if you guys want to see a video, there will be a video shortly on Share Your Grin. Very similar to this one in the setting wise. I wish I didn't upload them in the sequence that this is the sequence, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are still rating this lovely person that was vouched for by Fluff. Please go give them a lot of love when they eventually get back. I hope they're not too mad at me that they're being rated in this way when they're not there. But, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.